Welcome back to Kari's Confessions, a nonprofit exec tells all, the place where nonprofit leaders come to learn, grow, and thrive. I'm your host, Kari Anderson, principal with Incite Consulting. I spent 25 years in the nonprofit sector in leadership roles with 7 organizations. Now, I provide coaching and consulting services to ensure that nonprofits like yours have the structure, systems, and practices to do your best work. Wherever I go, I continue to hear that nonprofit execs need a space to gather, to receive tools, feedback, and advice that encourages them to stay the course. It doesn't matter if you're in a village of 182 or a metropolis of millions, nonprofit work is both gratifying and lonely. I'm here to make sure you have a chance to breathe, maybe laugh, smirk, and get excited again about the important work that you do. Today, we're diving into one of the most important, but sometimes most overwhelming topics: marketing and communication tips and best practices for nonprofits. We'll cover how to tell your story, engage your audience, optimize your website, and even measure your results without needing a giant marketing team or a massive budget. And frankly, I would say that telling your story is more important than ever. Today's takeaways: the 3 elements of great storytelling, the importance of consistent branding, and how to make your website donor friendly. So let's jump right in. First things first, I'd like to talk about how to creating a compelling story for your cause, nonprofit storytelling. So at the heart of every nonprofit is a story, but how you tell that story makes all the difference. Great nonprofit stories have 3 key elements: a character your audience can root for, a conflict that they want to help solve, and a resolution that ties back to your mission. Instead of sharing broad statistics like millions are hungry, perhaps zoom in on one person's journey. Make it personal, make it real. That's what moves your audience to act. So, data is critically important in storytelling as well. Most of our audiences have a need for analytics and they have a need for the emotive. The sweet secret sauce, right, is being able to blend the both of them. There's certainly do's and don'ts of nonprofit email marketing when we're talking about great storytelling and communications. So let's talk about email. It is still one of the most important and powerful communication tools that nonprofits have. Here are some quick do's with regard to email marketing. Please personalize your emails. Use names and tailored content. Provide real value when you're actually choosing to send an email. Share inspiring stories, updates, and easy ways for people to get involved, whether that's time, talent, or treasure. Keep subject line short and punchy. Now, there's some things to not do with email marketing as well. Please don't send endless fundraising asks without context. And don't sound robotic, right? While AI is a really handy tool, people, right? We are in the business of people. We still respond to authentic human messages. Remember, your email should feel like a conversation, not a transaction. So when we're thinking about really important communication tools, social media trends for nonprofits in 2025 look like this, right? There's some trends that are happening this year. There are 3 big shifts that you should probably consider. Video, so content is king. When you're thinking about video for your organizations, think about short form reels. Yes, TikTok. Some of us need to actually jump on that platform, and live videos. Community focused spaces are booming, like private Facebook groups and LinkedIn communities. And still, right? Authenticity beats polish. Your followers want real, relatable updates, not just highly produced ads. And for those of us that run small and mighty organizations, which is most of us, we don't have a video team, right? We don't have a full department that just works on communication for you, but we all have phones. And what matters most to your supporters is something from you, not something from a consultancy, right? Bonus tip when we're thinking about that content: small nonprofits are using AI tools for better content planning and posting. This has actually been happening for a period of time. Right? There's lots of platforms that can help us with automations, but AI actually can help us more with this. It saves time and boosts consistency for your organization. Lots of us are starting to worry about AI and whether or not it's going to take over jobs. Well, let's not worry about that. Let's actually use it to help you manage time. So something else I'd like you to think about when we're talking about marketing and communication is branding, and specifically why consistent branding matters for nonprofit organizations. It's not just for big corporations, right? It matters for us in this sector as well. Consistent branding builds trust. When your logo, colors, fonts, and messaging stay consistent across all of your platforms, it reassures donors that you're reliable and you're professional. So if your website looks one way, your flyers look another, and your emails sound completely different, it creates confusion, and I would go so far as to say distrust. And confused people don't donate. Keep it clean, keep it consistent, and make sure everything ties back to your mission. Something else to consider when we're thinking about communication and marketing for your organization: how to share stories that resonate with donors. So we've already established that storytelling, right, is this great connector in terms of mission work and connecting donors to your cause. So if you're wanting stories to really stick with your donors, here's the secret: make your audience the hero in the story. Frame your story so that donors see themselves as part of the solution. Use emotional, relatable storytelling and be specific. Real names, real faces whenever possible, right? Real impact. Being mindful, right, that some of us have missions that need to protect confidentiality of those we serve, right? But wherever possible, right, make it as authentic and real as possible. That's what pulls on the heartstrings and opens wallets. So I talked a little bit about email content before. Well, there's even more secrets, right, to make sure that emails stick. Well, we actually have to talk about engagement and segmenting. So how do you know if your email marketing is actually missing the mark? Look for signs like low open rates, right? Like I know what mine is. It's about 46%. Low click-through rates, high unsubscribe rates. Well, there's some immediate things we can do to fix it. Testing different subject lines and again, making them short and punchy. You can do this via A/B testing. Make sure your calls to action are super clear and compelling. Like we live in such a busy society, like so much more so, even than 5 years ago. We need to be really clear with our audience as to what is it we want them to do. Do we need a volunteer for 2 hours? Do we need a certain amount of funding in order to reach this campaign goal? Do we need people to contact their legislator about a specific bill that's at the House right now? Segment your email list so you can send the right message to the right group. Even small tweaks can lead to big engagement boosts. Now, something else, thinking about communication and marketing, we all have websites. At least we all should have websites, right? Website is your storefront 24/7. And I'd encourage you to do a quick audit. Is your site donor friendly, right? Whether that's donors of time, donor of talent, or donor of treasure. Here's a quick audit checklist. First, homepage clarity. Can your visitors understand what you do in 5 seconds or less? Your donation page. Is it easy to find? Is it easy to use? Are there no unnecessary steps? And please don't be taking people to a third-party site in order to make a donation to your business. Is your website mobile friendly? Your site must look and work great on phones. Does it load fast, right? Slow sites lose donors. A few small improvements can dramatically increase your online donations. And a couple additional tips for you today: how to effectively use testimonials in marketing. So we know that testimonials are marketing gold, regardless of the size of your business. They show real world proof that your organization is making a difference. Make sure you're taking the time to capture testimonials from donors, from volunteers, clients, beneficiaries, partners on your website, social media, emails, everywhere. And when gathering testimonials, ask for specific details, not just they're great, but how you actually made an impact in someone's life. Last, we want to make sure that you're evaluating and analyzing your marketing return for investment, right? We're so good in this sector about continuing to add, right? Whether we're adding a comm platform, whether we're adding a fundraising event, whether we're adding an additional program, whether we're adding a social media platform. But we forget to pause to actually evaluate what that particular mechanism is doing for us. All nonprofits need to track their return on investment. With regard to communication and marketing, here are some things to watch: your email open and click rates, website traffic and donation conversions, a cost per new donor acquisition. Tracking these numbers helps to double down on what's working and pivot when something's not. So friends, that's a wrap on today's episode of Kari's Confessions, a nonprofit exec tells all. Covered a lot, from storytelling and email marketing to social media trends, branding, websites, testimonials, and tracking your return on investment. Marketing doesn't have to be overwhelming. It just takes a little focus and a lot of heart. Remember the top 3 takeaways: the 3 elements of great storytelling, the importance of consistent branding, and how to make your website donor friendly. If today's tips helped you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a fellow nonprofit leader. Make sure to follow me on your favorite streaming platforms, including YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Many of you know that I'm no longer on Facebook or Instagram. Yep, that's right. I'm only using online platforms that work for me. So, additional resources and tools, follow me on LinkedIn. You can also check out my website at inciteconsultinggroup.com. Thanks for listening. And remember, your message matters. Let's get it out there. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great week.